What's up, geeks and gamers? My name is Drementfh, and welcome to Thorium Gaming, and we're back with Nightly Valor, our attempts to bring the light of the Lady of the Lake to the entirety of the old world. So last time we decided to kick things off with the Wood Elves, started assaulting the Waterfall Palace, and of course we have our other armies set up on the southern border. It could turn into a hairy situation with this many Wood Elves down there. That said, though, Lewin's got a full army stack. Chivalry does not as of yet. We still have a lot of capacity, and we have some gold coming in now, so we should possibly start looking at getting some more knights into his units. And he only has the Knight's Vow, so grab him a set of Knights Errant at the very least. Then we can run down a lot of those fast infantry units if they come at us.
Defender of the weak.
Our unnamed hero
I will not fail.
failed, of course. That said, though, let's also take a look at Grimaldus.
To victory! Slay them!
He's still suffering attrition, which is a little odd. They have supplies for 6 turns, but that will reduce our force by a significant amount. Tempting to just go in and fight them and take the Waterfall Palace, but we're going to check out the rest of our realm first, see what we can do. We do have Lord Adadon up in our capital, who can possibly go out and start collecting like fell cargo and stuff, but we want to get him a little bit higher. We'll have to wait till next turn for that, as we don't have any gold right now. And, of course, Furix was wounded on the last turn, so he was down in the Lamian area. Can't have any more scouting down there. And up in the Orcish regions, we do have Lord Eddie, who's trying to come down towards some more Orcish territories that we can lay into and capture. It's going to be tough to try and turn around the civility here, because, well, we don't have another army in this area. But if we have to deal with some uprisings, we'll deal with some uprisings. Our next turn we can actually get a... I guess we'd have to wait until we have 2,000 gold to be able to upgrade Barag Dwazbag. Otherwise Lord Eddie might have to turn around, which wouldn't be too great. But I guess we're going to start off with a good fight here. Well within our fighting capabilities, and we're going to have a lot of reinforcements from Lord Phoenix. So, let's see how this goes. Now, the only thing I'm really worried about are these Glade Riders. Arrow cavalry that can kind of outpace a lot of our units. So we'll have to be careful when fighting them, but the rest of it should go down pretty easily. I hope, anyway. So we'll go in, we'll fight the Wood Elves, we'll take over the Waterfall Palace, and hopefully that'll give us a foothold within the Great Forest to kind of throw the Wood Elves off track a little bit. We'll be suffering attrition throughout Athel Loren until we take out the Oak of Ages, and that is a definitely tough fight. And we're going to gamble on 8, because, well, either way, we were going to end up with very, very few magic reserves. So let's just organize our troops a little bit. Grab all of our anti-infantry knights, set them off to the side here, and put our knights of the realm, our anti-large, there. And we'll set up our infantry line with our archers, which are partially flame archers now, which will be good against the woodkin, or the treekin, or treemen, whatever you want to call them. And Grimaldus is still pretty hurt too, so we'll have to be a little bit careful. And as soon as our reinforcements come on the map, we'll bring them up to bolster our line. And we'll just pause quickly here while we get our reinforcements set up to come in and help. We want Phoenix in the middle of that group, but we do want him up front. Send these knights, the lion-hearted ones, into the forest, along with this other set of errants. Bring up the rest of our archers to back them up. There might be more coming onto the field. I'm pretty sure there is, actually. And we'll get all of the knights set up here. It's just a matter of letting either the woodmen come to us or setting up really, really good cavalry charges. They outgun us because, well, wood elves, right? So we do have to pay attention to that fact. But if we do it properly, we should, in theory, be able to slip in and really do some devastating charges. Of course, we're going to have to wait until all of the rest of our infantry gets up. So we'll just fast forward quickly so the rest of our forces can get up and into position, since the infantry moves incredibly slowly compared to our cavalry forces. Alright, now that they're kind of up with us, we can go back to normal speed, and we can take our infantry groups, group them together. We'll pause while we're doing this just so that nothing goes astray. And we'll do the same thing with our archers. Advance up a little bit, trying to get within shooting distance. Keep our lords spread out, because they're the ones that are going to cause a lot of the major damage to the enemy. At least that's the hope. Okay, that's that unit of knights errant over there. Should be all of these guys over here. Put the lion-hearted knights there. And unpause and see what the wood elves do as we advance a little bit. Of course, they do have a tree man and some treekin. Really cool models. We'll try and let our Knights of the Realm deal with them. I think we'll crash on this side first. See what we can do. There's some of their archers. Let's have our archers come up and go after those glade riders. And let's see if we can smash all of our infantry into the center. I know it's a little bit aggressive, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Right now, it really comes down to charging them and hitting them as hard as we can, as fast as we can. Looks like our knights have really stuck in right now. I think breaking their morale is going to be the big thing. So we'll just have to keep an eye on the individual fights. Looks like we're going to have to swap over what spell we're using, because that sorceress is being a little bit dangerous. These treekin are really, really fighting hard. Probably help if we had all of our knights get involved in that fight. There we go. Now they're starting to lose. As you can see, the wood elf archers are what's really, really dangerous here. We managed to scare off a set of glade riders, but their deepwood scouts, amongst other things, are incredibly powerful. And we're going to lose a unit of knights. Not ideal, but we'll have to deal with it. At this point, dropping as many of them as we can is the biggest thing that we can do. Don't know if their morale is going to break enough, though. They definitely outgun us.
The lions will! Power of light! Sons of Bretonia! Lord of Bretonia!
Phoenix and Chaplain are starting to take some real heavy damage here.
Battle ready! 2 men! For the lady!
It's going to come down to out shooting them, I think, which is not something you really want to do with the Wood Elves.
Heroes of Bretonia! Hastily! At speed! Here to serve! Grant me your wisdom!
Though the battle is going in our favor fairly well, so... it'd be nice if Chaplain had a healing potion or something. Just need to get him out of that melee that he's in. Hopefully before his morale breaks or his hit points run out.
Battle ready! Swiftly! Death to the enemy!
And he can take care of these archers for a little bit.
Ready to fire!
Taking care of a lot of their archers, except for that unit of Glade Riders over there.
Moving a base! Who, men? For the Grail! Infantry! By the lady! Ready! For the king! Bretonians, attack!
We haven't routed anything yet, but things are getting pretty close now. There we go, they're starting to rout.
Stick 'em good! Questing knight! At speed! Bows, aye! Fill them with alls! Priestess of the lady!
Those knights are getting pretty chewed up.
Pull back! To the street! For Bretonia!
I think we should actually take Chaplain and send him after the archers. We can let the rest of the cavalry just charge in and hit these Wildwood Rangers in the back.
Knights errant! Protect! With haste! Withdraw! Spare man at arms!
Let's see if we can get a unit of halberdiers and a couple of other units over there to help deal with that tree man.
We serve the lady! The lady wins it! Peasant bowmen!
But we're out shooting them, which is very rare. Let's see if we can shoot that tree man down even though he's in melee.
Doing our duty! Die, fiends! Ready for battle! Damsel! Might of the lady! For the king! Slay them! Righteous fury!
And where did Phoenix end up? He's still in that scrum somewhere.
Infantry! Bowmen! Come on!
Let's see if we can swamp this tree man down. I think they're about to break completely. There we go. Don't really need to slaughter any more of them. We want to try and recover as many of our troops as possible, so any incidental damage right now would be bad. We lost a lot more men than they did, but that's what happens when you fight the Wood Elves on their own soil. And we're going to occupy it, which gives us a full province, believe it or not, with a lot of construction slots open. We shouldn't suffer any penalties while we're moving through our own territory, but I'm not entirely positive on that.
My reputation precedes.
So Phoenix gained a level, and we no longer need to go up the entire rank. We can skip Royal Pegasus and go right to Hippogriff with him. But we're going to make him a scarred veteran. Give him a few more hit points.
Blessings of the lady be upon you.
And for Grimaldus, he's going to get a hippogriff, which makes him an absolute monster in close combat. As soon as we can, we should get a Grail Chapel going in the forest. Considering this is supposedly the home of the Lady of the Lake, but I think that's going to do it for this turn, so let's let the other nations go, and we'll see what they end up doing. And the Empire is just stupidly powerful right now. They have been for a while, but it's becoming more and more apparent as we fight through. If we can take care of all the threats on our home front, which would be most of Athel Loren, and push out into other territories where we can start just claiming things, we can start to build up our cities, and generally speaking, should be able to get our finances in order to make our armies a lot stronger. Of course, we're still watching them take over most of the border princes in the northern part of the Badlands. Franz is down there doing it himself. They've been fighting a lot during the campaign, so we'll have to see how things work out in the end, because we know there's something major coming up. Surprised it hasn't happened yet, to be honest. But it'll be coming up not too long from now. That's a well-decked out priest. Trickster's Helm and a Talisman of Preservation, so lots of ward save on him. Just overall general damage reduction. Be nice to see the dwarves pick up a little bit too. They are stronger than us, but they haven't really done a whole heck of a lot. Are they coming into the woods to help us with the wood elves? Even if it's just a hero, that would be beautiful, helpful. Of course, Wurzag is in their territory causing some issues, but, well, he's in the Empire's territory. But the Empire's always had to deal with orcs because you can't really eradicate orcs. They never go away completely. They just keep coming back, loud and angry. It looks like the Wood Elves didn't advance out from anything. They just left their armies where they were. I don't know if that's good or bad. And Nagorond is getting strong too. They own most of the New World. At least that's my theory. They've started to encroach on Ulthuan too. That could be incredibly bad for the forces of order. Considering that most of Ulthuan needs to be in their hands for Ladriel to have full power, and she's one of the most powerful legendary lords that I've come across, at least in my opinion. Her spell list, her and tech list are very, very, very powerful. So, she's a little weakened right now because the Negorothi have a province or region, I think, on Ulthuan, and that diminishes her powers not too much, but significantly enough to be notable. And the Brayherds are out there, so we'll see how that goes. We should probably save our gold as much as possible, so we'll skip that. Barag Doazbag we can upgrade. Sadly, we can't do anything else to it right now, but we have a few turns before, well, we have 18 turns before it has a rebellion, and 58 for Iron Rock. We should be able to sort out their problems before it comes to that point.
Leaving.
Lord Eddie is just going to have to keep pushing forward. His troops are a little hurt, but shouldn't be too bad.
King Lewin Leoncoeur.
It's the fact that they have 3 army stacks all joined up that is really the issue here. If they didn't, it would be pretty nice. But they are stacked up, so we'll have to just see it as it is. And it looks like we lost the Lion-Hearted Knights, so we're going to have to wait until we have 1,200 gold to reacquire them. Probably some time will have to pass too. And Artois We don't really have anything here. We can't use the toolmakers? Or is that the dwarves? The weaving house to make any more money because we have the upgraded windmill and the maxed out farms, which cancels all of the industry from the local region. And Corone, we're kind of waiting to have the gold to build two very important things. I would love to have the gold right now to build the tournament grounds. It would be awesome, but to do that we'd need to find a skull reef and defeat, well, there's the skull reef, but we'd need to defeat the pirate coast forces that would be there. So we may have to look into making Adidon able to do that. They're not too strong overall, and there's ways to kind of deal with them. But we'll let the other nations go. If we can get Adidon up a little bit and go for that skull reef, we can build the tournament grounds and have a lot more income per turn. We just have to worry about some mortars and a lot of ranged from the Vampire Coast armies. But the biggest thing is their bloated corpses. They don't seem so bad until you actually fight them. And then they blow up and kill a lot of units. They can basically devastate an entire infantry formation by themselves. So it's not wise to hit them head on. Better to shoot them down or send a sacrificial unit forward, like peasants or something like that. That's not going to really affect the rest of your army. I've been cheesing them with archery units in other Let's Plays, so it's a good strategy, but it doesn't always work, especially with how underrated our archery prowess is. But with the Empire pushing so far south, I worry about the northern reaches and what they're going to do. Because most of their power right now is in the Badlands and the Border Princes. So if they carry on like that, if anything comes from the north, they're going to be in a bad position defensively. And generally speaking, we want them to be able to bear the brunt of anything from the north. And it looks like the Crooked Moon Mutinous Gits and Carrick 8 Peaks just got taken out. So the dwarves now own it. And that actually gets rid of a grudge of theirs, one of the factions. Oh, it's the red hammer on a blue field. They are, their entire thing is based around getting Carrick 8 Peaks back, because it is their ancestral home. Is that Clan Izor? One of the legendary lords comes from it, and he has the ghost warriors with him, and it's basically his entire shtick is to get Carrick 8 Peaks back from Skarsnik? Not Skarsnik. Well, it's one of the more famous goblin lords, if such a thing can be said about goblins. So we'll just have to see how things end up going. I mean, it can't be too bad. Of course, the Wood Elves are trying to poke at us. We're going to need a lot more force to go in there and deal with the King's Glade. Because they have 3 full army stacks and we don't have the full army stacks. If we can take out maybe Vol's Anvil or the Waterfall, or not the Waterfall Palace, one of the other tree locations within the forest, we might be able to bring everything all together at once and just hammer the King's Glade, take out Orion and his 2 supporting armies, but they have a lot of really specialized troops in there. So we'll have to see. Alright, so we're making 1553 a turn. We have some infantry and a lot of cavalry. Let's grab another unit of let's grab another 2 units of Knights of the Realm. Another unit of Swordsmen. If we can build him up a little bit more, we definitely have to go after that Skull Reef. We're skipping your turn, essentially, Thibault. We can't really raid because that loses us chivalry. And our glazing kilns is almost done, so we should get an increase to our economy here pretty quick. Right now, it's going to basically come down to Lord Eddie being able to do something with one of the places down here. I can probably take Dringo. I'm not even going to try. But we'll give it over to the other nations. We can't really do much on the offensive right now because we're kind of holding back and letting our troops recover. Something the Empire doesn't have to worry about. Not even the dwarves have to worry about it, really. It's nice to see the Empire has at least 2 army stacks up in the north. We're kind of like 4th fiddle, 5th fiddle right now, which is distressing, but not entirely unheard of. I mean, the Empire has been going nuts attacking places and has really built up its strength. I don't want to go to war with them to prevent them from winning the campaign, but we might have to. And we could take over a large swath of the Empire while they're away. But that would be a pretty big betrayal, and that's not how we're going to work things out. Now hopefully that raiding army isn't going to get completely trounced by the army stack of orcs that's there and the garrison from Essen. Because that would be a pretty big loss to the Empire. They do have some wizards running around, but I don't think it's enough. I mean, what's left of the vampiric corruption is just gone. Might have been a little bit too passive in the early game. If we would have been able to strike out, attack, and win a few more fights, we might be able to push out a little bit more than this, but can't really go back and change that now. And that's one of the ghost heroes from the Dwarven faction I was thinking of. It might be Karakizor. See, this is what I was worried about. And the Empire did get trounced by the entire stack there. So just have to see how it works out. Because if the greenskins start pushing in from there, then all their holdings in the south, all their power will just shift to the north. And they'll be able to roll through basically an undefended northern empire. Or the dwarves could go through the mountains and hit them pretty hard. And it looks like they had a spell singer fail. And the vampire coast is gone. So we'll see how things are going to shake out here. Is Khemri actually going to go after Xandri now? Or are they just going to retreat back? Looks like they're just going to pull back. Between them and the Knights of Origio, Xandri's changed hands a few times. And we need to kind of pay attention to what they're doing down there, but not overtly.
I am King Leoncor.
Okay, they're at war with a bunch of people, including the last defenders, so we can't even consider allying with the dead. Alright, so PC has officially saved his butt a few times. And there's our kilns done. Now it just comes down to what we want to do for this. Because we got our glazing kilns. So as we upgrade all of our kilns all around, I think we're going to go with steel furnaces. Knight units getting armor is a great idea. Don't really want to do anything with the paladin that's in there. He's just a rando anyway.
Do you know who I am?
But Adadon, if we can get you set up a little bit more,
For now,
grab you a Grail Relique and 2 Battle Pilgrim units.
knightly valor.
And Dai looks like she's leveled up. She has pretty much everything that we could want from this tree, so let's grab her another rank in Specialist. And Ryan has also leveled up. Same idea, but she's already got the 2 skills we want her to have down there. So it really comes down to Common Cassandora, which is a Bombardment or Wind Blast, Breath. Well, the Wood Elves don't have a lot of armor, so I think we're going to go with Wind Blast, because it's weak against armor, but we aren't going to be fighting a lot of armor.
Armored in faith. Lord and hero.
And yeah, we're still suffering attrition in Athel Loren, no matter where we go. So, if we did go after Val's Anvil, to try and draw them out a little bit, it's doable, but it's not entirely a wise idea. But at least we have a foothold within Athel Loren in the north at the very least. I think we're just going to let the other nations go and see what they end up doing. And forgot to manually move Lord Eddie, but we're going to encamp him unless Balthazar Gelt comes over here and does some weird stuff. The real choice is the minor city, or do we go after Karak Azul? Because Karak Azul is a hard nut to crack. All dwarven cities are, even if they're held by orcs. So do we have the manpower there to take care of it? And Essen is now in Imperial control. Balthazar Gelt's raiding. Really wish we could do some raiding, but the loss of chivalry is just not worth it. See where this army is going to. They have so many great swords, so many demigryph knights, so many demigryph knights with halberds. The Empire is just on a roll. We don't even have Grail Knights yet. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. We are kind of behind a bad position here. Hopefully Lord Adadon can take care of that Skull Reef and get the funds that we need to deal with a lot of this. This is not exactly going very well for us. And just dropped my bottle cap, which is a little bit unfortunate. But that's only because I am kind of a dork. Curious as to what the dwarves are actually doing. I don't think we're fully allied with them yet, just kind of allied. And the orcs are still causing problems for the Empire in what was Sylvania. The greenskins are getting beaten down pretty harshly. I mean, they're almost in line. Well, they are kind of in line with us. We haven't exactly built up a mass of forces either, so yay? The orcs are something that we can fight on equal terms right now, I guess. So Elysia's in the Druki's hands, and they've got a black ark just sitting offshore. Kind of wondering why Khemri just doesn't take Xandri back. They could easily do that right now.
Not one step further.
Arcan the Black, you know, we're not going to sign a non-aggression pact with you. So let's see how that works out. Talea is doing something. I mean, they have a general or a captain up near us. And he didn't do anything. That kind of gives us something to think about. So Sarfurix is available for duty.
Paladin of Britonia.
There's taxes right now. Is there anything that we can... Well, we can add Winds of Power reserves now that you really need it, Furix.
True Knight of Britonia.
Let's get you going this way. So Karak Azul has a massive garrison, and Spite Peak and Black Iron Mine don't. And whatever the heck this city is called,
For the lady.
they have a much smaller garrison. But we're going to just encircle it. We could attack it right now, but if we wait a few turns, then we'll be able to do more damage once they've already succumbed to the attrition.
None shall see me.
Okay, so that was a critical success, meaning that character is completely dead. Not just wounded, but dead.
Lord of Britonia.
And we're going to wait until the Knights of the Realm and Questing Knights in here are built up a little bit more. Val's Anvil has a tremendous garrison, too. So I think we're going to have to get some more cavalry involved. Can't really afford them on the global right now. That's why I'm hoping Adadon is going to be able to do something. He's got 18 units coming through. Good number of archers, good number of infantry. We have 900 coins left. Let's grab a couple of spearmen units, and then Adadon can go out and collect some stuff on the water for us. Maybe even fight the Black Ark. We'll let the other nations go, and we'll see where we sit. The real question is, the Empire going to keep pushing north? That looks like Azag the Slaughterer there. All their legendary lords were kind of beaten up around Essen, whatever it is called. So, if there was still a vampire player around, that would be a great place to raise the dead. Simply because it would have so many special units available. Black Knights, Graveguard, Wraiths. Maybe even Crypt Horrors. Should be good. Definitely have to see what the Empire is up to after all of this. It'd be nice to see the Empire do a little bit more in the north. I mean, a couple armies going up here, taking Essen, or Essen, two very similarly named towns, did help, but it's not exactly the bulwark against the north that we're hoping for. And Azag's doing the typical orky thing of just raiding and sacking and all that sort of stuff. And Furix just gained the Fortunate trait, making him an extremely, well, not extremely, but a little bit harder to take out from assassination. And Azag's not going to press, he's just going to go into an encampment? Well, I guess it is a raiding camp if his fightiness is low. Then it would definitely help. It's the Orcs' inner mechanic, is they have a fightiness level for each one of their armies as long as they're not in combat and all this sort of stuff, and they can start to squabble and bicker amongst themselves and take attrition from it. Essentially, Orcs need to be kept fighting, or Orcs start fighting each other. And it looks like Khemri's just going to pull out of that area entirely. And the Silver Host is gone, so that means Lamia is no longer in the hands of vampires. The Knights of Origio are sending out another army stack. That could either be going to Xandria or could be setting up to attack something else. Yeah, Silver Host is destroyed, and that's that. But with that said, guys, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter one this week. I haven't had a whole lot of time to sit down and record. I still have a lot to do. So if you like the video, guys, please consider hitting that like button. If you'd like to join up with the 232, see yourself pop up in this or other Let's Plays, just hit that subscribe button, and make sure you turn your notifications on so you don't miss when a new video goes out. And remember, guys, life is a game, so play to win. And until next time, take care.